I'm really excited. I just love talking about seed starting. It's so magical. Once you unlock the skill, it's kind of like this whole world just opens up.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too.
If you want more native plants in your garden next year, you're gonna want to watch this video. More people are planting native plants than ever. And if you want to see the most bees and butterflies in your garden next summer, you're gonna want to grow some of your own plants. In this video, I'm sharing 4 awesome reasons to grow native plants from seed. So this summer you can have a garden bursting with flowers and wildlife. Let's get it. Let's say you've decided to create a new garden bed. You've picked out a spot, you've killed the lawn, you've done the edging, the mulching, and now it's this beautiful empty spot just waiting to be filled with plants. This is my favorite thing ever. One of the most fun parts of gardening is bringing new plants home to fill up a brand new empty garden bed. Mwah! It's so exciting. But let's admit it, plants can be expensive. When I plant native plants, I'm not really happy with the spacing that I see in some other gardens where they'll have a little plant here and then another plant over there, and they're separated by a lot of mulch and space in between the plants. To me, that's kind of a waste, and it's also going to be kind of a nightmare to weed because you know that weeds are going to be growing in between these plants. It's going to be awful. So I need one plant about every 12 to 18 inches, depending on the plant. That means if I want to create a brand new garden bed, it's going to be an investment. What happens is that we're very eager to start, and so we just buy a few plants first. Maybe we plant them spaced out because we only have a budget for about 10 plants. And with native plants, this can kind of cause a problem. When our native plants have too much space around them, they tend to open up in the center and kind of flop open in this undignified way. They get too tall, they flop over. You really need to pack them in to get the full effect for native plants. So the first reason I like to grow plants from seed is that it's a lot cheaper.
I love it!
And you get more plants. Seed packs are as low as $3 for 25, 50, maybe even 100 seeds. While most of us don't really have room for 100 plants, you get the idea. You can definitely find a home for 25 easily. I planted these penstemon plugs 12 inches apart because their footprint is about 12 inches around, like a dinner plate. But coneflowers can get a little bit bigger, like 18 inches across, so I've spaced these coneflowers a little bit further apart. This is probably 25 black-eyed Susan plugs. This is what it looks like when they mature. This is why we like to plant them close together. When we grow plants from seed, we stop feeling a sense of scarcity and start having a mindset of abundance. Suddenly, we want to share our plants with our neighbors because we know that there's more where that came from. It's not too hard to just grow more. When we have to pull plants out of the garden because they're starting to get too crowded, we don't have to think,
oh no, I spent so much money on these plants, I couldn't possibly.
And then our garden just continues to be overcrowded because it was too much of an investment, we can't bear to pull the plants out, and now the garden doesn't really look so good. You start to use these flowers as paint on the canvas of your garden. You don't feel like you have to ration it. You feel much more free with what you can plant and what you can take away. It makes it so much more fun. When you're not growing from seed, it can feel like plants are kind of a scarce resource. If you buy a plant and it dies, it's such a bummer, so you feel like you can't take risks. Imagine you've just watched a YouTube video on native plants. Here I am in the video, so excited, talking about prairie smoke and sedges, how easy they are to grow, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go first thing May 1st to the garden center when they open, and I'm gonna buy these plants at the store. You look up and down the aisles of the garden center and you see hydrangeas, daylilies, hostas, but you're still trying to find the plants on your list that you heard about in the video. And what do you find? A big fat zero.
Uh-oh.
You found out that the big box store doesn't carry any of the plants on your list, so it can be really discouraging.
What the heck am I supposed to do to find these plants?
I'm trying to do something good, help the environment. How am I supposed to do that if I can't even find them at the store? The truth is, it's hard to find native plants at the store. For me, this is the most frustrating thing about having a love for native plants. You can't find them at any of the big box stores. I saw a native coneflower at the big box last year and it was $25 for a gallon. How are you supposed to buy 10 of these? That just doesn't work for me. I can grow 50 coneflowers easy in one season from one packet of seeds. Now, it won't be gallon sized until the end of the season, right? And that's the benefit of buying larger sizes. But I'm willing to wait because I got 50 coneflowers for $3. Maybe that's why native plants are not the biggest profit maker at the local garden center. These plants are made by Mother Nature, so they can't be patented by any corporation. The nursery industry makes a lot more money if they create like a hybrid or a very special plant that they can patent, and then nobody else can sell that plant, and it's illegal to propagate it. Now, my local independent garden center does have native plants. We have 2 local places that are awesome, and they carry a diverse amount of species both in plugs and in gallons. I don't know how much money they're making on the plugs, but they listened to their customers and they started carrying native plants. So some sometimes you can find a good local garden center that does carry them. Usually the best way to access these plants is to buy them online from a native plant nursery. There's a lot more of these popping up, but you do have to look for them online. I would try to find one that's closer to where you live instead of buying native plants that are being shipped from across the country. But even if you buy them online, sometimes they don't always have them available all year. Usually springtime is when everybody buys their plants, and they will kind of sell out around June. So that means in the summertime, it's really hard to find plants, and then they sell them again in the fall. So if you want to start a garden in the middle of summer, in my experience, a lot of times the plants are sold out. I love supporting native plant nurseries. This is my preferred way to buy plants, but you usually have to be ready when they start selling in the spring because they just sell out. You can avoid some of this hassle by learning how to grow native plants from seed yourself. That way you collect or buy all your seeds in winter, you grow them in the late winter, early spring, and then by planting time, you've got a lot of plants. You're gonna have so many plants, you're probably gonna have too many. I grow way too many plants every year, and there's no way I can plant them in my garden. My garden is full. I have a front yard garden, I have a front of the house garden, backyard garden. I don't have any more land here. So what do you do if you grow from seed and you have extra plants? You can have a plant sale and sell them. You'll have to check your local laws about selling plants. But if they give you the okay, you can have like a garage sale. Just put out an announcement on social media like a week before, and people will come and take the plants off your hands for $1. And if you have a couple hundred plants, you do the math. My favorite thing to do when I have extra plants is to give them away. There are so many people who've never thought to plant native plants, or like they didn't hear about it, and this gives them an opportunity to give it a try, risk-free, and maybe they'll like it. Maybe they'll start planting more native plants. I put out one post in my local gardening group, and lots of people responded and came to pick up plants. They were so grateful I was giving native plants away, especially the milkweed. Monarch butterflies are the flagship of native plant gardening in North America. A lot of parents and grandparents want to share the magic of monarch butterflies with their children and grandchildren. I've even given away milkweed that already had monarch caterpillars on it. Parents have sent me pictures of the fully grown plants years later. Their kids and grandkids just love watching the caterpillars grow on the milkweed. That's enough of a reward in itself, just seeing families enjoying the wildlife that visits their yard. So much of our lives is in front of screens, and any time spent outside gardening and watching wildlife with your family, it's precious medicine to kind of bring us out of that screen zone and into the real world where cool things happen. I love growing from seed. It does take some skill and experience. But once you try it a few times, you'll master the art of growing from seed, and you'll have a ton of confidence in the garden. You'll have the confidence to grow trees from seed, or maybe shrubs from cuttings. Growing tomatoes and lettuce is gonna seem super easy after you get the skills to grow native plants from seed. It's just an indescribable feeling to realize that you have this skill. You can create gardens, hedges, even forests with your skills. As much as I love the ease of buying trees and plants, there's nothing like the satisfaction that you get from growing from seed at home. In an upcoming video, I'm gonna make a guide about how to grow native plants from seed, from picking out what plants to grow, using grow lights, and a lot of tips and tricks that'll save you time. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about seed starting. This is gonna be a great season.